Yeah, you're listening to Mike, Decka and Jack on IPL Radio, and we're going to be talking to Robbie Harte, who's a musician based in New York, and that was her single, Outside My Window. Now, just to start, just to let people know that we are going to be talking about a very emotive subject. We're going to be talking about suicide. Now, you know, again, if you feel that that's a subject that you're not comfortable with, just be aware of that, okay? So I believe we are all set to go, is that right?
Yeah, so this could be it. This could be make it or break it. I'm going to try and give her a call over Messenger as we speak.
Very good, very good.
Here goes something.
So Robbie is a country music singer, songwriter, and this actual song that she wrote is very, very emotive. It's unbelievable, to be honest. So it's great for us here at IPL Radio in Australia to be able to play and promote the single for Robbie. So once we get teed up, we'll have a chat, see what she's got to say, and yeah.
All right.
Jack's all ready to go, aren't you, Jack?
I am ready to go. I've written down a couple of questions.
Very good. Well done. Well done.
All right, here goes. Here's the dialing.
All right.
Hopefully it should work. Is it going to work? Is it going to work?
Oh,
I can hear a dial tone.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Robbie. How are you?
That's excellent.
Good,
welcome
good,
to
thank
the
you. How are
radio
you?
show.
Yeah, we're very good. We just played your single there, Outside My Window. It's an extremely emotive single that you've got. And we've just done I don't want to call it a disclaimer, that's a horrible word, but just letting people know the fact that we are going to be talking about some very emotional subjects, one of them being suicide as well. So, we've done all of that, but hopefully we can talk a bit about you, your music, and everything else. You're a country singer and songwriter.
Yes, that's right. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm just very blessed to be able to do what I love, which is
for sure.
Sing and write music.
Yeah, and you're based in New York.
I am.
Right. So you're actually from New York, and the reason I ask that is because country singers normally come from, like, you know, the Midwest in those what we would call cowboy country type locations.
Texas.
Yeah.
I'm actually from Canada, if you really want to throw a loop for you. I am actually from Montreal, Canada, and I moved to New York about 14 years ago.
Yeah. You don't say the word "a" after everything.
I do actually, but it's been my daughter bugs me about it all the time. She's like, "A mom, A."
Yeah, how's it going? A.
A.
Yeah. What is it? Go on, Jack. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just wondering, what made you move to New York?
Well, there's a really great story there, and it was so great that I had to put it into a song. I was living in Montreal, and I took a trip to Hawaii. I was actually supposed to go to Paris, and at the very last moment, I just said, you know what? I think that I'm supposed to be somewhere else. I switched my plan, and I went to Hawaii, and I ended up meeting my husband there, and he was from Long Island, New York.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving to New York and getting married and starting a life here.
Unbelievable.
That's amazing.
It just goes to show.
You hear the whole story.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, you get these, as you said, something made you decide to go there, and it was obviously meant to be.
You know, it's so funny because I just kept getting sign after sign, like, don't go to Paris. And I had everything booked. It was planned. It was, like, right at the last minute.
Yep.
And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to play it safe and go to Hawaii. And the first day I was there at 6 a.m., I met my husband at Starbucks in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Very good, very good. And you said you wrote a song about it, is that right?
I did. So the previous single that I released in July, Out of the Blue, tells the whole story about how I met him. And I was supposed to be somewhere else, and fate intervened, and I just fell in love out of the blue.
Yeah, and you've never looked back, obviously.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, and you sound very happy. That's the main thing. I can tell you're smiling in your voice, which is good. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and find Out of the Blue for you as well, and we'll try and play that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what? You try to smile through everything because life has ups and downs, and life has unpredictable things happen, and you just have to try to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Now, we heard that you've written this song or to be released on Suicide Prevention Day.
It was a couple of weeks ago now, but
which
it's
takes place on the 10th of September.
Yeah. So obviously you've released the single now, and that was based on events as well. Are you okay to talk about that?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad that you did, put out the disclaimer to the audience, because these are very sensitive topics.
Yeah.
And, they're sometimes not very easy to talk about. But the point of me releasing this song was really in the hopes of opening up dialogue and really trying to put an end to the stigma around mental health and people that are struggling.
Yeah.
So I released Outside My Window on September 9th, ahead of World Suicide Prevention Day. It was written and inspired by a young life in my community that was cut short at their own hands. And it was just devastating to find out that somebody who I used to see all the time in the neighborhood, and somebody in the community, and I would see them smile and wave by while they would drive by or ask me how I was doing. I didn't know that they had demons and they were struggling. Yeah. I had no clue, and I would see this person all the time, and my daughter and I would be at the bus stop, and she would say hi, and it was just a shock and a surprise, and unfortunately it happens way too often. And so many times after the fact we sit there and say, if only I knew, what could I have done? Could I have said something? Could I have done something?
Yeah.
Could I have been there? Could I have checked in on somebody? And it was just that devastating feeling, like a precious young life taken away way too soon. And so many people are out there that are struggling, whether it be with mental health issues or depression or whatever that they're facing, but they're afraid to talk about what's going on because they don't want to be judged.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. Do you, in America, Canada, you have Are You OK Day? Have you heard
I'm
of
not
that?
sure about the Are You OK Day, to be honest with you. I know that the month of September is Suicide Awareness Month.
Yeah, right.
September 10th is World Suicide Prevention Day. And I know that there are walks out of the darkness throughout the month of September and October.
Yeah.
But the one that I'm most familiar with was the text to talk. Like, so if you don't want to call and speak and, not be, I guess, you want to remain anonymous, or you're too shy to talk, you could text, and there are places that you could just text and ask for help and reach out, and there's lifelines, but exactly. It happens all too often, and unfortunately it wasn't the first story that I've heard that ended that way with a young person, and it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
It's just heartbreaking to know that somebody is suffering in silence, that they're ashamed to ask for help, or they're afraid to ask for help because they don't want to be judged. And to have to be suffering is one thing, and having to do it alone and feeling ashamed for it is another thing altogether. And my hope with releasing the song, as I said, I was just hoping that it would start some conversations and say, you're not alone, and you matter.
Yeah.
And if you're even thinking for a second that you don't mean something to people, you do. You might not know it, but you mean something to people.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When I mentioned about Are You OK Day, that's our version here of which helps us focus on mental health and asking the question to somebody, are you okay? And making sure that you try to understand that it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, we've got a similar text back service of what you got there. Ours is a callback service, and just if anybody's listening, the actual number is 1300 659 467, and what they do is they call you back as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right.
And
I think there's Robbie, this kind of issue it's one of those dark issues simply because, as you mentioned, people don't feel comfortable talking about it. But I think we hope that over the last few years it's starting to get a little bit better, but it's still all too prevalent in society, right?
It really is, and especially amongst young people. I mean, the fact that it's like the third leading cause of death in young people is just astounding. And it doesn't have to be.
The more support we can get out there, the better.
You know, I'm a mom, and I have a young daughter. She's 12 now, and she's, almost adolescent age. And just to know that there are people out there that are her age that are suffering and don't have people to talk to. Yeah, just while you're giving out the numbers, there is the suicide prevention Lifeline in America is 1-800-273-8255. So if anybody is listening in America and they need help, they could also text. I'm going to give you the text number as well.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we've got all of the Lifeline here in Australia, which obviously we'll give out at the end of the interview. But it's not just Australia, it's around the world, and we're so pleased that you've managed to reach out to us in Australia to not just tell us your story, but also to give us those numbers, because that's what our hope is, that we can focus on mental health around the world. It's not just in one place, it's not just one society, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
that's
it's meant to help everyone.
I think I hate to use this word because it's been overused in the last 18 months, but with COVID, there are so many people that are home isolated. They don't necessarily have people checking in on them. They don't have people talking to them on a regular basis. Maybe they're not going into work, so they're not seeing people. And those people who are maybe more vulnerable and who do need to be checked in on. And it's like I said, it's just heartbreaking to know that anybody feels alone, and that there's so, in my personal case, it would have been so easy just to check in on somebody and just say, hey, are you okay? But, sometimes it's people that have the biggest smiles that fight the biggest demons, and you would never think it.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's, we found that out through the media here, is that most of the people will turn around and say how lovely and bubbly their children were, or the people in their neighborhoods were, and they just didn't expect it. And it's because it's masked so well, they don't want to show that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the same as the comedian Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams, exactly.
There was a girl, my cousin's best friend, who recently committed suicide.
Yeah.
She was 12 and she went to a school local here. She was, according to my cousin, she was the happiest person you'd ever met.
It can hit anybody. It's very sad,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that, and I'm sorry to know that somebody so young felt that they had no other choice. And it's just heartbreaking. And like I said, we have to do better. We have to open up dialogue. We have to say, you could say that you're not okay, and you shouldn't be, in judgment. We shouldn't be in judgment of you. Like, I use this analogy. I have a car. If my car's not working properly, I send it to the garage. It gets a tune-up, and then it feels that it works better. Nobody judges that. We shouldn't judge people if they're having a hard time and they need to get, assistance or counseling or help or anything. We shouldn't be in judgment. We should be helping each other and supporting one another.
Absolutely. I think we've got a book here, which I'm going to plug as well, because this was by a lady called Marilyn Shermer. And if I hold it up here, we'll make sure it gets out on the media. But this is it here, and it's called I'm Not Okay. Now, I don't think you'll be able to see it just now there, Robbie, but what it is, it just says, WTF do I do now, because I'm not okay. So this is like the answer to the question, are you okay? It's because some people are going to say, no, I'm not okay. And and then it's a case of, right, what do we do now? And it's giving them professional advice or personal advice, if you can, to help,
It's very important that, where we are here, we have organizations that help children specifically. So if you're a teenager, you need more specialized help, a talk hotline than you would if you were an adult, because you're facing different kinds of crises or issues. And it's good to know that there are answers to questions, because people often want to help, they just don't know how. How can I help? How can I make this person not feel alone? Or what can I say to make them know that they matter and that I care and that I want to help? But we're not always equipped to do so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's such an area to be put in when if you say to somebody, are you okay? And they say no. I mean, not a lot of people expect that answer. So it's then a case.
No, it's actually true, especially like you said, when you see somebody young and bubbly and smiley, and you think that they're the persona of personality, and you're like, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, that's it, exactly. And that's why it's great to be able to advocate advice, but you've also got to understand the fact that usually these people want you to listen more than give advice. But if we've got professional services out there which we can advise on, that's fantastic. So
it's just amazing that now there are more accessible information for people, because like I said, there's so many people that have been home for 16 months, 18 months, they're missing their day-to-day connections with people, they're missing their reason for getting out of the house or getting out of bed or whatever it is, and it's just important to know that those resources are available.
Yeah, that's right. I think the advent of social media as well has made it difficult for young kids, teenagers, because there's a lot of outside influences there as well. So, and there's a lot of care put into the social media side as well, to a degree, to try and stop the online bullying and all that kind of thing. But there's still a hell of a lot of it, and hopefully, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's sad because there's so many things that can help it, but even from like past experiences, it just doesn't work and doesn't help. People will still do that. People still just want that little kick.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've got Jack here, and Jack's, you 14, Jack?
Yeah.
And we brought Jack in because obviously he can talk from experience from that side, and it's difficult for everybody, but I think having Jack here and being able to talk about this, and he's a well-rounded kid. That's the main thing.
Well, thank you for sharing your stories with us, Jack. I appreciate it, and I think it helps other young people know that they're not alone, and that, what they feel like they're the only people going through this. It's good to know that there's somebody else who's reaching out and sharing their stories, bravely sharing their stories. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And there's way too much bullying going on. I think we need to focus on being kinder and just, smile at people more and be more accepting and just sending out more positive thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
That's it. Compliment somebody at least once a day. It actually makes you feel good and them feel good too.
Yep, exactly.
I agree.
Back in
I agree. I think...
No, sorry, Robbie, go ahead.
No, I said I agree. I think we need to lift each other up. I think that it costs us nothing to raise each other up. There is enough sunshine for all of us. I don't think it takes anything away from us to be kind toward other people. It doesn't take away our light. It just helps everybody shine brighter. So
and you hit the nail on the head there. It costs nothing to be nice. That's the key, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm a believer in karma as well. Is if you actually do something nice always happens to you. I mean, like you said, like you said, you met your husband out of the blue, and I reckon it's karma.
It is, yeah.
Good karma.
Yeah, good
karma.
What?
You're absolutely right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And what was really interesting is not only was I not supposed to be there, I was writing I was writing a story, and just the way that we met, it was like he was acting out the story that I was writing in my book as we were meeting.
Yeah.
So
it's
it was
really bizarre.
Really karma.
Yeah. It is karma for sure, yeah.
It was definitely karma.
No, listen. I mean, obviously you've had Out of the Blue. You've had Outside My Window. You must have had a string of hits across there in America. What's the international scene like as far as you're concerned? Are you finding you're getting plenty of coverage and exposure?
I'm getting a lot of support overseas in the UK, in Europe. I'm getting a lot of play in Australia, in Canada, and in the US here. I am very grateful for the support that I'm getting. I'm grateful for everybody who's getting to hear my music. My songs are drawn from personal experiences, and I'm just glad to be able to share my songs with people and near and far, and I'm very grateful to make those connections with people such as yourselves, all the way in Australia.
I know, it's crazy, right?
I'm glad to know that my music has connected us and given us a chance to share these moments together, because music is incredible and powerful. It's so far-reaching, and it brings people together. So,
without a doubt. Now, so what does the future hold for Robbie Harte?
Well, I'm very much looking forward to doing some live performances as soon as everything starts to settle down a little bit. Things are slowly starting to open up. We see some things that opened, close again. So I'm waiting for everything to regain stability and the opening again. And just once everything is open, I'm very much looking forward to making some trips and doing some live performances. And that's something I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah,
Australian trip in the future?
Yeah, you could be touring down under.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. I would love to come out there and sing and perform and share my stories and meet all of you people.
Yeah.
This is what I dreamt of doing ever since I was a little girl. And, at some point a few years ago after I moved here, I was badly injured and I wasn't able to sing anymore for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And so my dream got put on hold for a long time, and I just started singing again a few years ago, and I'm so driven now more than ever to do what I love and to share my music and my musical journey with people. So very much looking forward to being able to do that again in the very near future.
Exactly, and like we've said, don't get me wrong, I'm not a country fan personally, but I do like the likes of Brooks and Dunn and a couple of others as well. So I mean, you've introduced me to this new genre as well. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's expanded my horizon too.
Now we're going to we have teed up Out of the Blue, and we would like you to do the intro for that when we finish up here. But before we do finish, just to let everybody know the fact that there are specific form of lifelines that you can use. We've got Lifeline here in Australia, which is 13 11 14 13 1114. That's the number for Lifeline. And we've also got the suicide callback service, which is 1300 659 467. Now, you mentioned also that there was the numbers in the US. Could you just go through those again for us, Robbie, please?
Yes. I can. I actually was just looking up for the text number, so it's just not on my screen. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was trying to find the text number that I had the other day that looks like may have changed, so just give me one second.
I think the US callback number.
The callback number, you've got that one, Decka, so you can read that one out for us.
If you're in the US, you go.
It's 1-800-273-8255.
Yeah, we've got that,
That's
and
right.
we'll make sure that gets out to everybody here as well, because we do have a lot of our American cousins living in Australia, so...
Yeah.
That's right.
We'll definitely post it on the Facebook, maybe?
Yep.
Yep. Put it on our Facebook, and the interview will actually go on our YouTube channel, which is...
Inspire Radio Online.
Inspire Radio Online, that's right, YouTube.
Yep.
So we'll make sure you get all of these contacts, Robbie, so that's fine. But
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Would you do us the honour of introducing us to Out of the Blue, please?
Hi, this is Robbie Harte, and you're listening to Out of the Blue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Nice speaking with you. We'll speak to you again.
Awesome.
Right,
Thank
take
you
care,
so
Robbie.
much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for sharing my story. I appreciate the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.